Okay, we are recording audio only for today. We've got nothing fancy to show, so just want to say welcome to everyone who's listening to this later or who's with us today. Today is March the 16th, and my name is Kelvin, and we're going to be introducing two new team members today to the AscentPad team. As previously noted, we may use AscentPad. We might refer to it as AscensionOne. We are rebranding, so it's a bit fluid at the moment. Bear with us on that front, but we are making progress, and we'll give you more details on what our plans are in relation to the Launchpad directly in a few minutes. Just to set the scene again for everyone who might be listening to this for the first time, why are we here? AscentPad grew out of a desire to create a safe place for crypto enthusiasts, so we can enjoy buying and selling crypto in a safe place and find certified safe projects. We've all been rugged, and I say that with a certain amount of authority. If there's one person in the room who hasn't been rugged, okay, but I think we've all been rugged, and if we haven't, there's a good chance we will be. This is a big gambling space, and we're tired of it, and that's why we're here. And we also want to help. You may have noticed if you visited the website, AscentPad.app, you'll find that the Crypto Bronto project, which is an NFT project, that project is helping us relaunch. That's an NFT project, also backed by the same in real life company, LayerOne.Cloud. LayerOne.Cloud is a cloud IT and cybersecurity company who we've partnered with the Council of International Investigators and the local chapter here in South Africa, which is where we're based. We are a registered PTY limited company. We partner with the Council of International Investigators in high-profile criminal cases. The CII has over 400 private investigators internationally licensed. There are more than that in the world, but these 400 plus PIs hold international licenses, allowing them to investigate crime in 70 plus countries around the world. So wherever there's a legal mandate and it's within our grasp, we can take it to them, and they can have boots on the ground hunting down the criminals within 24 to 48 hours in just about any country. That's one of the things that LayerOne.Cloud brings to the table that is unique in this space. LayerOne is the owner of AscentPad.app and the owner of the Crypto Bronto project. Both projects are owned by LayerOne. Both are certified safe. So that's why we're here. There's always going to be criminals in this space, but if Marvel and DC Comics have taught us one thing, there's always going to be victims and villains as well, but superheroes never quit. So we invite everyone to join us, let your inner superhero out, and join us in building the biggest crime fighting community on the planet and a safer place for crypto. And that's why we're here. Now, a little bit of background, I think, is also in order for some who might be listening, maybe from your side, Luke, or from Tony's side for the first time. We've been involved in a couple of high-profile criminal cases. One of them was our own. So the AscentPad, just as LayerOne was taking ownership of AscentPad, the liquidity pool unlocked, and a criminal got away with it. We used our insight in our team and managed to recover 100% of that liquidity. At that point, though, the project had suffered from the bear market, which we're all currently in still. So we decided to just keep going with the relaunch program, selling the NFTs to help us relaunch, and we'll just use the funds to help develop other things. And we've actually, between Tony and I, have come up with a really good plan for the project. But let's segue. Who is Tony? So Tony, I think the room is kind of interesting because I'm sitting here on the bottom of the planet in South Africa, although I am originally from Canada, you're sitting there in Finland, freezing your butt off with flu in the family and cold weather and miserable places. And Luke, he's on the far end of the planet, also on the bottom end in Eastern Australia, and he's with us tonight too. So we've got 3 corners of the world covered here. But tell us a little bit about you and the background. And I just want to let everybody know you are our KYC, fully KYC'd with LayerOne developer on board who will be building the Launchpad, the contracts, and providing development services for new projects if they want to come and launch with us. But tell us a little bit more about yourself.
That is correct. So yeah, like you already said, I'm residing in Finland, 36 years old. Tony is the name, happily married, 4 kids. So basic life.
Tony Stark. Tony Stark. Yes, Tony Stark. We talked about Marvel and DC Comics, and I got to tell everybody, guys, don't let him fool you. The accent is a fake. He's using a voice changer. This is actually Tony Stark on our side. So let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, like real life superheroes. Yeah, just jokes aside. Yeah. I've been working over ICT overall, on graphics and manufacturing and applications, developing applications, web designs, and everything for almost 20 years now. And got into the digital currency / crypto, scene on 2010, pretty much, while I got interested on the new innovations and like new thing when it was then and how to adapt those. And yeah, that's when I started to learn, also things from the crypto side. And now for a couple of years, pretty much, focused on Solidity developing and applications around Web3. So yeah, and now I'm here.
Fantastic. So something I think it's worth pointing out to everyone listening as well, that AscentPad originally had a problem with their smart contract, and there was things weren't functioning as expected within the contract, and the original developers couldn't figure out what the problem was, and nobody could figure out what the problem was. And I found a developer who could figure out what the problem was, but wanted an arm and a leg to work with us. Just rates were not reasonable at all, weren't really within market rates at all. But he was very good. He was able to, in I honestly, less than 60 seconds, look at the contract and figure it out. And then I met Tony. And then Tony did the same trick. In about 60 seconds, he managed to find the same problem. So that just, I think Tony was worth mentioning, because that just lets everybody know the caliber of developer that you are, that we are, that AscentPad has on their side, and that people can bring projects to us, and we can develop their contracts for them, we can audit them, we can KYC them legally, and do all of that and launch safe project here. And,
absolutely.
We've got the skills to do that.
Yeah. The safety in the space is like it's evolved to a very, very toxic and very, very scammish, if I could say that. And my kind of goal and my what drives me forward is like building much more safer space. That's the thing.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about plans for AscentPad, or whatever it becomes in terms of a brand. We're on target for a launch around the end of March. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So that is the main target now, and at least for now, the timeline keeps the launch will be by the end of March. So AscentPad, I think pretty much by your original, I think you have spoken much more here than I am, because I'm here the first time now speaking out. So main idea about the tiered system of owning the app tokens and everything participating on the pre-sales will be in place. And of course, it will be separated because we want to put some. The idea was to put on some, how could I say it nicely, some degenerate plays in the place as well, just like in DX sale and Pink sale. So we want to have that side of it too. But those will have very, very, size of house disclaimers that remember put in only what you're affording to lose, because those are not handled by us, obviously.
Yeah. So I think I think what you mean is we've got the degen plays part of the Launchpad where people can go and do their own launch. Those are non-certified launches. They're not going to get the safe click badge from LayerOne or anything like that. People can play in that space because it just seems like people like to do that kind of thing. And something that I think for the audience who's been with AscentPad for a long time now, it's worth letting them know that, yes, we want to create a safe place for everyone, and that will be there, and there's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, a lot still like these degen plays, and so in order to cater for both crowds, we're going to have a clear demarcation of where your safe space is and where your degen plays, or call them gambling plays if you want, or high risk plays are going to be. And like you said, it'll be like a pink sale style type of Launchpad. So we're going to have the best of both worlds here. And that also allows us to generate other revenue, because as we attract more people to this space, we'll be able to do things like ad revenue. And I think we want to create a little playground for people too, a treasure hunt.
Yeah, I think that's coming there too, and you can touch base on that. Maybe, I don't know if this is the right time to play around with that, or different announcement.
Yeah, it's not a high priority item, but it's an item that is really great, because I know I've tried some of these and it's really fun. You click and it generates some Bitcoin private keys for you, and if one of them lines up with a we could call it a stagnant wallet, one that's dormant, sorry, yeah, dormant wallet. And if it's a dormant wallet and it clearly has no owner, and you find the keys, well, the Bitcoin in it is yours, right? So it's kind of like, we call it a treasure hunt, and it's kind of fun to click and do that. And it's a great way to bring people to the site, have a little bit of fun, and then also for us generate some marketing revenue from adverts that we can also get posted on the site. So as you can see, AscentPad is morphing into something more than just a plain tiered Launchpad with safe launches. We're now incorporating other elements that's going to attract a much broader crowd, so that we'll have a much broader audience, a broader user base, and we'll incorporate other features as time goes on. So as we can afford to, I think one of the main features we will want to incorporate is some way for people to buy crypto using a credit card, and that's something that we'll have to raise funding for, and we'll get that integrated as well. And then there's a lot of other things that we'll tackle down the road. Let's get the launch out of the way. Let's get the main pieces of the Launchpad up and running by the end of the month. And I think the goal was to do our own. So everybody knows the Bronto sale is still on. If you want to participate in the relaunch and buy some of the AscentPad tokens, you have to have a Bronto in your wallet. Just one is all you need. And you can buy up to 600 BUSD worth of AscentPad tokens at in a private sale. This will be a private sale prior to launch. We're going to hold that private sale on AscentPad. So we'll do our own launch right on the Launchpad. So that's just a little reminder for those listening in later, and those who are hearing this for the first time. Get a Bronto, got a Bronto in your wallet. You can buy in up to $600 worth of BUSD or USD. We'll probably do USDT now, because BUSD depegged and all, and the markets are falling apart and banks are failing and the sky is falling. So we'll probably use
crazy
USDT.
times. Yeah, it's crazy times right now. So people just keep your head's cool and do wise things. Don't just mess around. So.
And I think given the current market conditions too, what we'll do that's going to impact you, Tony, and me and everybody here is we'll just put another poll out about when launch. Just make sure the community is on board with us. Do you really want to launch at the end of March, or do you want to wait an extra few weeks, say past the first the first Friday in April, so thereabouts, is when the non-farm payrolls gets released in the US, which is the biggest indicator of where the markets are going. So we want just to wait an extra couple of weeks. So we'll put that poll out there for everybody just to confirm, so the community's on board with us as to when we launch. So do we launch April 1st, or do we wait 2 more weeks, something like that, and we'll do that. Awesome.
Yeah, that's wise.
Anything else?
That's wise. No, I think I think that's it for now. That needs to be announced. So, at least from my part.
I think if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the AscentPad chat. Tony will pick them up later, or I'll pick them up and make sure Tony gets them for anybody who wants to drop questions there.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tony. And now
no worries.
We move on to Master Luke. Luke, the Reward Miner CEO. Luke, tell us about yourself.
Thanks for the invite. Firstly, my name's Luke Jackman. I'm an Aussie boy on the East Coast in a place called Newcastle. It's about 2 hours north of Sydney. So my background is real world mining in a sales and marketing capacity. I've also worked in the ICT space, so IT and communications, networking. I've worked, with a number of, large companies on, I guess as an external marketing consultant. Probably the largest company, it had a turnover of anywhere between $65 and $70 million a year. I was sort of working with that particular company with, I guess, really building an effective sales culture and assisting them restructure the way that they commercially position their product and their engagement and, I guess, buying process, with their customers. I got sort of, I guess, started dabbling into crypto, back in sort of, mid to late 2019, had a fairly, I guess, rough start with my crypto investment journey, where I lost $60,000 from a dust hack about 3 months in, which was a little challenging. And I, from that, after sort of spending a couple of weeks in a devastated haze, I sort of started talking with a guy who was quite knowledgeable in the space, and sort of tutored me and taught me how to invest in crypto and, do my due diligence and understand charts and 50 and 200-day moving averages and all the things that you need to know. That all the information's on the net, but, you don't know what you don't know. Or where to find it if you don't know it. So, from that and sort of networking within the space, I did quite well over the following sort of 12 to 18 months. Had, I guess some failures, like getting into projects that rugged, and, I got quite frustrated with the level of shit that was really served up to the DeFi community. And from that, I, with a number of business associates and a close friend who's well entrenched within the mining industry, we created Reward Miner Coin. Now, Reward Miner Coin, I guess was very, very sort of successful, and we were really powering on. We launched last August, and after 12 months of really, really solid work, building it up. We had a pre-sale that was 970 BNB hard cap, which filled in 74 minutes, which was a pretty impressive effort given it was dead smack in the middle of a bear market. Unfortunately, for the project itself only, ran for a couple of months. In that couple of months, we paid out a bit over $155,000 in BUSD rewards. But the developers that we engaged, unfortunately, I put my trust in the wrong.
Here comes the bad word. Go for it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I put my trust in the wrong people, and I and our investors paid dearly for that. And basically, what happened was that the developers that deployed our contract, they created a wallet to deploy that contract. They gave me the keys to that wallet that deployed the contract, which I did the pink sale pre-sale and finalized that pre-sale on. The liquidity that was locked in pink sale, which we're migrating across to the Novation DEX exchange. But the Novation DEX exchange at the time when we did our pre-sale wasn't live. So we initially launched on PancakeSwap. But the second that the pink lock unlocked the LP, the developers drained it. Now, I was under the impression that the contract had been transferred to like our multi-sig, which it was, and that LP, the ownership of the LP, had been transferred. And we did receive a transfer of some LP tokens, but they were only the tokens that weren't locked to pink sale. Unfortunately, the rest of those tokens that were locked to pink sale that were owned by that original wallet, which the developers had access to. And unfortunately, me being a marketing guy, not a blockchain dev, and my inexperience really cost us in that situation. We've been working hard to try and relaunch the Reward Miner Coin project.
If I can just jump in there, Luke, because I do want to touch on the relaunch, but I think I just want to repeat something that I say to everybody else too. In situations like yours, stories like yours, they're not new. I've had several of them come my way since I've started doing AMAs in this space and telling people what we're doing. And there's, first of all, it hurts like heck and you feel ashamed, but always remember one thing, that you're not the one that should be ashamed and you're not the criminal. So hold your head high and move on with pride, because you're trying to do good in this space. And it's the criminals that should really be the ones that feel shame here. And I did dive down the rabbit hole on your transactions and the coin movements and whatnot. And it's clear that the developers were involved. We don't know if, and this is because this is going to be public and recorded, we don't know if the development team themselves were all complicit, or if it was one member of the team that managed to get their hands on the private keys to that wallet address that held access to the liquidity. You were also given the keys, but I think that therein was kind of the trick that someone played, where they handed you the private keys but didn't transfer ownership, which is a very different process. So anyways, I did go down the rabbit hole, and the money just kind of went to exchanges and disappeared, unfortunately, which leads us to what we're going to be doing a little bit together in terms of a relaunch for Reward Miner.
Yeah, so look, the way that I came in contact with Kelvin and Tony is obviously probably from the worst possible circumstances. It was in the aftermath of what happened to Reward Miner Coin and our LP being drained, because I put so much of my own personal capital into Reward Miner to develop utility up front before we even raised a dime of capital from investors. I had well over 200K, put into this, venture, like out of my own pocket. So it's not like I issued myself free tokens or anything, that I didn't bear cost of. Like when I worked out the comparative, I'd pay a similar sort of amount to what our private sale investors have with, doing the 20-hour days for a bit over 12 months. So, like, I'm certainly pot committed to relaunching the Reward Miner Coin project, not only for, I guess our investors, but also for myself, because my wife is a very unhappy lady right now because I've lost a considerable amount of money.
Well, you're still able to chuckle out loud, so she hasn't killed you yet. We can
no, like she thankfully sort of lets me handle this sort of stuff and doesn't get too involved. I think if she sort of fully understood it, maybe I might not be breathing. But yeah, look, it's obviously a less than ideal situation. We've been working hard with a number of other ecosystem projects, which have been doing really, really well, that are generating cash flow to support the rebuild of a liquidity pool for the Reward Miner Coin project and our investors to restore those guys. One of the, I guess, the key takeaways, and it was something that I wasn't naive to, is that I'm not a developer. I couldn't write a line of code to save myself. There are a number of pitfalls within this industry, and it's probably what makes, I guess, companies like LayerOne probably more important, is that as crypto becomes more widely adopted, there are going to be more people that move into the space that don't have a base coding understanding, and there are a lot of bad actors within this space. So to be able to have someone who is trusted, they've got integrity, they've also got capability and capacity to assist on audits and develop utility, is really, really important, because there are a lot of other developers within this space that unfortunately don't have a great connection with morals, and they will take you for a ride. And I've had a number of instances through the operation of Reward Miner Coin where dealing with those type of developers has really I guess been detrimental, and costs a lot of money, where you pay for development on something, and at the end of it you really have nothing of value to deliver. Or there's also cases where you develop something and there's exploits that, if not picked up, you could be working the considerable hours that you need to make a crypto business successful, to line someone else's pockets at the end of the day. So it's really, really important to obviously partner with the right people, a company that is trustworthy. And that's sort of, I guess, how we got in contact with how Kelvin and I met. He was referred to me by Brian from Coin Launch Lounge, who I have enormous amount of respect for. And I knew that, like, straight away, like, it was always my commitment and intention that one way or another we were going to relaunch RMC, because legacy is incredibly important to me. And I didn't want my legacy within DeFi or within crypto be that guy that launched that project that raised all that money that people lost money on. I set out to make people money, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So
perfect.
There was always going to be a relaunch when that happened. Yeah, absolutely. It took a couple of days. It took the wind right out of me. It was a gut punch like you wouldn't believe. And
well, it was $156,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's I think everybody here would agree that's quite a bit of a gut punch. Yeah. So you deserve a couple days off to regroup and rethink things. I think it's also something worth noting to the group that's here, because we've got a couple of very loyal, very good investors here in the room. It's worth asking you, if you don't mind sharing, Luke, how many projects you might have on the go that you might be relaunching, re-auditing, and promoting through AscentPad, through us, along with LayerOne.
So
I know that we're still discussing all of this, but there's a lot of potential behind, and I'd like for everyone to hear what you've got.
yeah, sure. So I mean, before I guess I get into that, I probably should sort of tell you a bit more about, I guess, Reward Miner and what the premise of Reward Miner was, because it plays into obviously this, and this is why I guess the partnership and collaboration with Kelvin and the AscentPad or AscensionOne, I believe, is looking at sort of being rebranded or renamed too. Will work quite solidly for both companies. Is that Reward Miner and Reward Miner Proprietary Limited. Reward Miner Proprietary Limited has 8 umbrella companies. So they're real world businesses and LLC, proprietary limited company entity. And one of those is Crypto in a Box Proprietary Limited. Now, Crypto in a Box Proprietary Limited, essentially the business objective is to engage and use the relationships and network that I have in the real world mining, particularly mining technology space, to give mining companies and mining technology companies a way to raise capital and fast track development of products and services they're going to be selling into the real world mining vertical, and using crypto to be able to do that. And providing them essentially a cradle to the grave solution where we can engage them, develop their business idea, assist them, build, websites and white papers, and, assist them raise capital, with launches and, enlist them, but then also assist them from an ongoing sort of, marketing standpoint to help them strive after they launch. So that's what Crypto in a Box is. And, it's not just for mining technology companies, but for, any other, crypto business or, person that's looking to create, a crypto project that, may have an appetite to start a crypto project, but may not have, I guess, all of the tools available to them to be able to launch it, operate it, and have it be as successful as it can be.
Right.
So,
and so,
there are a
so
number
some of the keys to that are making sure that you have a team behind you who can do the development, which we can now. So LayerOne fills that gap for you. A team that can make sure the contracts are safe and that the keys are in the right hands, and LayerOne fills that gap for you as well. And I know I'm saying LayerOne, but ultimately the place where all of this can be marketed, promoted, launched, etc. One of the places, you don't have to use just one launch pad in this space. One of the places is AscentPad, which when we launch those projects via AscentPad, they'll have the LayerOne safe click stamp of approval on them, the LayerOne audit and KYC stamp, and that marks a project something that is worthy of a second look. So we're not going to say it's a safe project, it's going to make you $1 million, because that's just a bold-faced lie in this space. But what we can guarantee is that the owners aren't going to rug. We just can't guarantee that every project is going to be an absolute success. But at least we're going to be flagging the ones that people can take a second look at, and hopefully we take that one step further that we all want here and start creating that safer place for crypto. So you've got in real life businesses, about 8 of them behind Reward Miner. Now, in terms of crypto projects on the go that we may need to examine, audit, relaunch.
Yeah.
There's
So
Reward
right
Miner,
now,
but then there's a whole slew of them, isn't there?
Yeah. So we've got like a full ecosystem of projects. You know, some of those projects were created and established to really fast track and just like generate cash flow to be able to relaunch RMC as fast as possible, as fast as what we possibly could. Some who have actually come about from collaborations and partnerships that we formed where, you know, we came in and we worked with existing teams, you know, to help them, you know, be more successful, like particularly from a marketing front. But we've got Kinder Inu, which is doing, you know, really, really well. I mean, we launched it at 503. It's presently sitting at double, like 2014, which is phenomenal. And, you know, we've had that, you know, level of success in the space of a couple of months. So, you know, our investors who have come into.
I think I just want to flag something there that this demonstrates something. One of the reasons why Luke is with us today, what he's flagging for you right now is just how successful he's been in marketing, which is really one of the reasons we really want to, you know, team up with Luke. I think also we need to flag though, Luke, that that's not an audited contract. We haven't audited that one.
No. But you know, the process is with, I guess, as you know, LayerOne and, you know, Reward Miner, I guess, solidify like our, you know, working relationship that all RMC or Reward Miner coins, you know, V2 contract will be audited, and you know, the LayerOne team will actually assist us in managing, I guess, the day-to-day sort of contract engagement on that.
Absolutely.
Because as I said, Jard, I'm a marketing guy. I'm no developer. Like I know enough to be dangerous, and I can, you know, like change tax fees on a contract, but there are a hell of a lot of functions on our contract that I've got no idea what they do.
Yeah. So Luke, you know what I want to do? What I want to do right here is I sense that everybody's had a bit of a taste for what you can do, what's behind you, your in real life projects and marketing skills and whatnot. And I think what I want to do is leave that as our teaser, because we'll have more to say if we were to do another AMA in about a week's time, I think, or even 2 weeks' time, after we've done more development behind the scenes with you. I think that's going to be a nice teaser for everybody, because I happen to know there's a lot that's in the works. And so one of the missing pieces for AscentPad has always been, where will we get projects from? What services will we be able to offer? And so we're here today kind of introducing Luke as a really great guy who can really feed a lot of projects to AscentPad. So I think it's actually time to get really excited about not just what Luke can do, but some of the projects he's got on the go and some of the projects that he'll be able to bring to us. Number two, I think it's worth getting excited because we have a full-fledged, full development team, full stack. So if you need artwork and branding done, we have the team for that. If you need just a smart contract written, we have the team for that. That's a specialty actually in the team. If you need an audit done, we have the team for that. And the KYCs are all legit, all done via the LayerOne brand on that side of things. So with that little teaser, I don't want to make this more than an hour. We're into 40 minutes or so right now. If that's okay with you, Luke, shall we leave some details maybe for our next AMA?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, how I see this, you know, really working is that, you know, Kelvin and Tony, you know, from a development perspective, they're really, really solid. They also have some networks on, you know, I guess regulation and, you know, chasing down, I guess, people that do, I guess, fit outside the lines and, you know, decide to operate, immorally within this space, which is important. So to have those connections, but I mean, what I bring to the table is, I guess, the mouthpiece. I have been successful in marketing for a number of businesses, and as a good complement of skills. I don't have the development, knowledge where they do. They're probably not as profound on the marketing, commercial positioning side, and I can fit, in with that. So, I mean, what we're really trying to do, guys, is create an ecosystem or a way that we can really, I guess, provide a golden path for people to come into DeFi and the crypto space, and to be able to, I guess, engage crypto similar to buying a sandwich from Subway, like in respect to blockchain utilities and contracts and so forth. They come in and we educate them. We provide them consulting knowledge about how the best way to tackle things are, which they may not know. Because if you're not currently involved in the DeFi space, that you own a business and that you want to leverage crypto to raise capital, you might be very, very successful within your own, I guess, real world business. But that doesn't guarantee or mean that you're going to have success inside crypto, because it's a very, very different world. Even marketing, within crypto is very, very different to traditional mainstream marketing. And you have to understand that. So obviously, having a company like LayerOne and Reward Miner, and I guess what we're doing in partnership together, will provide them the tools necessary to be able to get a contract, get a website, get a strong white paper, have a community of investors who are looking for solid projects that are going to deliver value. And then,
Right.
Raising capital through the launch pad, but then also having, a team of people that they can trust to be able to develop them the infrastructure, the crypto infrastructure, to be able to have those projects or those businesses be successful. So it's a really, really
Right.
strong partnering, and yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting.
And I think one of the unique aspects also, I don't know if others in the room and any listening to this later pick that up, that from what Luke's describing, what his experience is here is bringing in real life, so IRL businesses, into the DeFi space. So this is something that's unique to our project. So we're not talking about bringing people who are developing in DeFi already to the Launchpad. He's talking about bringing people from IRL businesses into this space and providing that crypto in a box type service, which is what we will be providing. So start to finish and launching on AscentPad. So that's another unique thing that we bring to the space. Luke, do you know Cryptic? Cryptic put his hand up.
Oh yeah, don't let him talk. You'll never shut him up.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. Cryptic, go. You're up.
Well, actually, my daughter pressed the button, but since I'm here.
Oh no, did we just turn him on? Can we stop it? Is there a stop button? Where is it?
No, I just I guess I want to just emphasize again that finding someone like Luke to lead a project in DeFi is extremely rare, and I was one of the first people to kind of jump onto these projects that he was creating to make an ecosystem to support Reward Miner coin. And it's because oh, there's my daughter. It's because you could just tell he's a stand-up guy, and it was so obvious that what happened to Reward Miner coin was unfortunate rather than
rather than something
wrong. Go ahead.
Exactly, and Cryptic. That's why we're actually in this. That's why we exist. We initially LayerOne launched an NFT project called Crypto Bronto, which is the project that's helping refund the relaunch of our other project now that we own, which is this one, AscentPad. And that's why we're here, because there's so many criminals in this space, and and then there's a whole bunch of us all here in the room who want to just have fun in this space and do good in this space and use this space for real stuff and profit from it. Of course, it's like a business, really, if you want to look at it that way. So yeah, thanks for those comments about Luke, though. We really appreciate you adding some context and some color to that picture for us too.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, like I'm kind of the poster boy for why your services are important.
Yeah, so
I think.
I mean,
Cryptic and go ahead, Cryptic. Just finish up your thought there.
Yeah, right? I just put a lot of trust in Luke because he's someone that you should put your trust in, and I've been early in all the projects he's been working on here, and been heavily rewarded. But now that we're partnering with LayerOne and Kelvin, now not only am I very comfortable with following Luke as a lead dev in these projects, but I feel like there's an immense amount of security on top of that, so that something unfortunate is less likely, of course not guaranteed, but less likely to happen in the future. And I just going to emphasize that from the investor perspective.
Yeah, thanks for that. So in terms of a rug or a crime, probably the risk is nearly zero. In terms of a project failing, though, well, that risk is the risk we all play with. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get the chances of a rug on any certified projects down to near zero for those who play ball with us. And I can assure you that with the TKYC that we do, that's kind of a linchpin to what's going to be happening with some of these projects. So we're actually gonna have photos of Luke's dogs, the pugs, and we're gonna have all of that information on hand. So should he ever do something dirty, we'll know who he is, right down to the last flea on his dog's back. So that's how deep we go with our KYCs.
Did you just threaten his dogs?
Yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Sorry about that. Just apologize to the pugs for me. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. But
they're outside. Otherwise, you'd be hearing them snoring right now.
So I think that adds quite an element of. I think we've rounded out the team now by partnering up like this and working with teams like Luke and Luke. You've got guys like Cryptic, and I know there's a whole bunch of others there that are just waiting for the relaunch and for the other projects to get certified. So we'll keep working behind the scenes to develop more projects and get closer as we get closer and closer to launch time. But we just wanted to share this with the AscentPad community. And I know we've got Marius, and Mary is here. Mary, any questions? I know we lost Sam. He dropped off, but feel free to just open your mic. I'll give you a second if you got anything to add. Mary,
hey,
so glad you're here.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I don't even remember everything about this project. So, and I came late. I have lots
it's quite okay.
But
no, it's quite okay.
I wanted to ask is, are you also gonna have Arbitrum, because it's a very big new thing coming from Ethereum?
Yeah, you know what? Initially, we're actually going to launch on BSC just as a launch pad. However, there's something I think that not too many people fully understand about launch pads. The launch pad is actually your place to go where your community shows up, your investors pitch up, they put their money in, and following that, your contract gets launched. The actual chain that you launch that contract on can be anything. The fact that our launch pad is on BSC just means that you're going to be using BNB or USDT and putting those funds as investors into the project initially, but those funds then get converted to tokens on whatever chain you want to launch on. So we can literally
that's interesting.
launch we can literally launch a project on any chain, and we can develop those contracts so they come out as LayerOne certified gold audit and KYC contracts.
But so, you guys haven't launched yet, right? When are you going to launch? Did you talk about that?
Right. So that was the part. Yeah, that was the part at the beginning. Our target launch date is end of March, and then we'll just do a slight community poll because we have a highly valued community. It's true. We're not a DAO here, but we want to listen to the community on, do we just hold off a couple more weeks for that one next NFP announcement from the US or not? But it's going to be end of March. I think latest would be 15th of April then. But those are firm launch dates. One of those two are going to happen now. We're ready to go.
And have you had any pre-sales before that? No.
So right now we have, if you want to get in on, we're going to have a very short private sale. The private sale will take place right on AscentPad. So our launchpad is going to be live, and we're going to do our own private sale right on it initially. And to get in on the private sale, you need to have a CryptoBronto NFT in your wallet, just one, and you can buy in with a maximum of $600 USDT per address. So we are going to do a very short private sale. If you want in, grab a Mint Bronto and go from there. And we're going to launch ourselves on our own launchpad. How's that?
That's great. Yeah, cool. What is this Bronto NFTs?
If you just go to AscentPad.app, scroll down the front page, you can read all about what it's there for, how to get one. It's on the Ethereum blockchain, so you'll need some ETH for that. If you mint 30 of them, we'll give you another 20%. So the NFT is going to give you, so as you know, the native token for AscentPad is it's a reflections-based token, 5% buy tax, 5% sell tax, and 50% of that gets converted to rewards for the community. So what we're going to do with the Brontos is the Brontos are going to, it's explained on the website, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the Brontos are going to earn some of those reflections for everybody as well if they buy them.
But how much is one Bronto then?
It's 0.03 ETH right now, which is, I don't know, is that $50 or $60, something like that?
Okay.
Whatever Ethereum is worth at the moment. Yeah, thanks, Mary, for those few questions. Marius, any questions, anything to add?
Yeah, just a little bit about the launch time. I was thinking more like it's better to launch earlier rather than later because of, I'm thinking like the central bank decentralized coins and everything, when that they're put into action. I'm guessing there will be a lot of like regulations and everything. So I think it may be wise to be ahead of the curve and have already launched something before they make some new rules or anything.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. It's government, and I used to work for the UN. I worked there for about 7 years in Geneva, Switzerland, and I can tell you things aren't going to move that fast. But I get your point. I hear that. So
yeah, I mean, like the government need to understand crypto before they can police it properly. And right now, they don't really understand crypto. So
they're policing it anyways. Gary Gensler is just going around saying every proof of stake coin is now a security. There, I've said it, so it's law. And unfortunately, I got a feeling the SEC is going to win the case against XRP arbitrarily. That's just my personal opinion. That's not financial advice. I think they're just, but I did put that out on Twitter on, there's a lawyer out there who covered the XRP case very, very thoroughly. Anyway, I even tweeted to him, I just think the SEC is just going to win the case just because they're the SEC and for no other actual valid reason, but that's just my personal opinion. So Marius, the idea behind the launch date, we're end of March. We can't get any sooner than that. And the question will be, and I'll put a poll in the group anyways, would be, do we launch about 2 weeks later? So what if we launched at the end of March and then suddenly a week later, the NFP comes out, and we're waiting for a very significant drop yet in the market. It hasn't happened, and it's still coming, but I don't want to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. So is everybody going to feel okay if we launch at the end of March and then there's a huge market crash? Bitcoin actually touches 10,000 as predicted. How's everybody going to feel about that? So I think we'll put that in the poll.
Yeah, personally, I think that you would be better off waiting until probably the 2nd or 3rd week of April.
Yeah, there's only 2 to 3 weeks difference maximum in that case.
Because then, so if people are contributing, like, you know, BNB or, you know, I guess funds to the pool, then immediately you have them getting benefit from, I guess, rising, you know, base coin on top of, so you can sort of ride the wave back up. So yeah, look at, obviously, you know, do your poll, but yeah, having more information rather than already at your disposal and making a decision from that is always going to be better off than launching and then, you know, I guess wearing that information later. And if it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks is nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll put the poll out there and we'll take it from there. Luke, thanks so much for getting up early in Eastern Australia for us. Great that you were here. Shout out to Tony, who has since left with the flu and gone to bed, our developer who has a team of developers and artists and whatnot behind him for doing full stack development of our websites for the LayerOne side of things. Thank you everyone for joining us, who's in the room, Cryptic, Marius, Mary, Mr. P, and others. Thanks for joining us. And let me just sign off here and we'll stop the recording and I'll leave the room open, but I'll just sign off by saying, just remember why we're here. We want everyone to click safe and we want to create a safe place for, if it's an NFT project or creators or crypto enthusiasts of any size, way, shape, or form. We want everybody to find this place as a safe place for investing in certified safe projects. And remember that Marvel and DC Comics have taught us that victims and villains will always be around, but superheroes never quit. So let your inner superhero out today. Join us in building the biggest crime fighting community on the planet and help us build a safer place for crypto. Thanks for coming, everyone.